And out of all my collections, probably the Atari Jaguar is my favourite one. Hello, welcome to my channel, Retro Snipe. I'm John, and in this video I'm going to show you my Atari Jaguar collection. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll know I quite like to collect Atari stuff. I do collect for all kinds of things, but Atari's the main thing I like to collect for. And out of all my collections, probably the Atari Jaguar is my favourite one. I don't have all the games just yet, although we're getting quite close, I think. And I don't have all the bits and bobs for every game. Some haven't got the manual, some haven't got the controller overlays, etc. But we'll go through it and we'll see what I have got. So we might as well start at the beginning. In this box is my original Jaguar that I got when I must have been about 17 or 18 in the mid-80s, in the mid-90s. I'm old, but I'm not that old. I'll just pop that up there, and I'll tell you a little bit about the history of why I got a Jaguar in the first place. I was on the second-hand market in Manchester where I grew up, and a bloke was selling a Jaguar, and it was in the box. And that makes me think that it had a few games with it as well, and that makes me think that the games must have had boxes as well, but I don't remember having the boxes. And it cost me like 40 or 50 pound, like everything seemed to cost me in those days. Everything I seemed to buy was about 40 or 50 pound. And it had quite a few games with it. I remember it had Brutal Sports Football, Bubsy the Bobcat, Kasumi Ninja, Checkered Flag, Sensible Soccer was one of them. I think Theme Park might have been another one. And I think there was about 8 or 9 games with it, and it cost me 40 or 50 pound. And like I say, it did have the box. Now this isn't the original box. I bought one a few months ago, a Jaguar that was sold for parts, and I managed to get that working again. And I've sold that Jaguar on, and now my original Jaguar is in this box. When I moved out of my mum's house when I was about 19 or 20, I just left it there. And about 10 years ago, I went back and got all the stuff that I'd left at my mum's that was video game related. And this was still there, as well as a few other bits and bobs, Nintendo 64, and a few other computers as well that I had. And the games were still there as well. The box had gone, the box was long gone, but the games were still there as well. The Jaguar was still there with the controller and all the bits and bobs. And it eventually went back in the loft again. And then a couple of years ago, went upstairs in the loft, got everything out, and there was, I think I've still got a picture of the consoles anyway. I had games as well, but I laid out all the consoles that I dug out of the loft a couple of years ago. And I think I've still got a picture of that, so if I have, I'll put that up on screen. Anyway, when I started collecting again, no, actually, I'm skipping ahead of myself there. I think it was during COVID when we were a little bit skint like everyone was. I decided I was going to sell it, but I didn't sell the console because I couldn't be bothered to package it up and arrange the postage for what I thought at the time was a more bulky item. But I did sell the games because by this time there definitely weren't any boxes. So I sold all the games on eBay, and thankfully there was no great big hitters in with them anyway. So it wasn't a great loss. I didn't sell Atari Karts or Air Cars or Rayman or anything like that. They were just like I went through before, Checkered Flag, that kind of thing, Kasumi Ninja. So still not cheap, but not the top end titles. And I didn't sell the console. And then when I started collecting again, I decided again I'm going to trade it into CEX because I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get the games back. They don't come up very often. Oh, this is what I thought at the time. They don't come up very often. Hard to find. Blah blah blah. So I took it to North Shields, and as you'll know if you know anything about the Jaguar, the console needs a game in to be able to test it. So North Shields didn't take it because they weren't able to test it. So a few weeks later, my daughter was at the time, she still is now, but at the time she was at university in Leeds. So one of the times we went down to Leeds, the closest CEX that had a game in stock was Leeds Crossgates, I think it's called. I think it's like a shopping centre. So I took it down there, and I was going to trade it in, gave it to them. They tested it because they had a game and everything, and they knocked it back because on the RF port there's if you know the Jaguar, there's a little bit of brown plastic on the inside of the metal on the RF port, brown plastic, mind you. and they told me they wouldn't take it because the RF port was rusty, and I think they'd mistaken the bit of brown plastic for rust, so they didn't take it. And it was literally, I was on the verge of just getting rid of it there and then. So they didn't take it, and I can't remember if I actually decided, okay, well, I'll keep it, and I can't remember if I actually bought the game that they had in stock at the time. I possibly did, but it would have been just a cart-only game as well, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was, so maybe I didn't do that. I might have come home and had a look and decided to get some through the online ordering of CEX. Anyway, that's a lot of waffling just to tell you how I got a Jaguar in the first place and why I've still got one. In this box, that spares and repairs Jaguar came, I kept the box and I've put my original Jaguar in there. There'll be a little bit more on that. I bought a bundle. I ended up actually making a profit on the bundle, getting to keep the box, upgrading some games, which I'll go through, and I managed to keep an accessory as well, which I'll show you in a sec. So that's my original Jaguar in this box. Before, I showed that first because obviously that's the original, that's what kicked it off, that's what I originally got, why I had a Jaguar, and that's what got me back into collecting for it. But before that, because I didn't have a boxed one, and my original one wasn't in a box either, I had previously bought this one. And this is all nicely in the box as well, but as you can see, it's a slightly different model. And I'm pretty sure this is the box that I originally had, so I'll probably transfer my original Jaguar console into this box so that it's as close to what I had when I originally bought it. I say originally bought it, it was secondhand when I got it. So I'll put that up there as well. Now they've both got everything in there. They've both got a copy of Cybermorph in there now as well, a loose copy of Cybermorph. No manual, unfortunately. If I come across those, I will put those in the box as well though. But they've both got a copy of Cybermorph in there as well. And I'm not going to take them out because although they're complete, if you know the inner tray of the inside the Jaguar, it's kind of made out of that egg box material and it's quite brittle. And I don't want to be pulling it in and out because there's already a little bit, not too much, but there's already a little bit of damage to both the inlay trays on these. So hopefully you'll just take my word for it that they're both in there, they're both complete. If I can manage to do it carefully, I'll put some overlay, but I'm probably not going, I'm telling you now, I'm probably not going to bother taking them out of the box, but they are all in there. If you can hear, there is, there's not just a brick in there. There is a console and controller and a copy of Cybermorph in both boxes. So, with that bundle that I got this Jaguar in, that I've now put my original console in, there was 4 games and there was an accessory. We'll go into the accessory now. Like I say, I bought the bundle and I've since made, I think it was a £35 or £40 profit on what I paid, and I've since put 4 better condition games into my collection, which I'll show you in a sec. And also I got to keep a boxed Jaguar controller, which is in, the box is in really nice condition. The controller's still in the bag and probably will never get used because I've got a controller in each of the boxes. And as I'll show you now, I also have a spare loose Atari Jaguar controller. So I've got that as well. I'm probably not gonna put that on display for the time being. And then quite recently, from Kirkby Sales and Exchange, I bought a game. Went through it in one of my previous videos. If you want to go and have a look at that. Another accessory popped up. This was only £17, and it's a boxed Team Tap, which I think, pretty sure CEX charge more than that for one without the box. So really happy to have that. £17. Now all I need, I've got 4 controllers, I've got 2 Jaguars, I've got the Team Tap. Now all I need is some friends to play the games with. So we'll put that there, and also just to put a finishing touch on there, we'll put the little 3D printed sign that was kindly done by M&J Designs for me. I'll be back looking for some more of those 3D printed signs next time if I see them at the markets. So finally, we'll come on to the games. Now, this game is one that I didn't have when I first originally bought a Jaguar, but I always wanted. And originally I bought this cartridge only because that was the only way It was in stock at the time, but I've since upgraded, and that game is Alien versus Predator. It's nicely boxed. It does have the manual, but it does only have one of there's 3 controller overlays that come with this, and it does only have one of the controller overlays. It has the Alien one. I'm looking to upgrade or just source a set or the remaining 2 of the controller overlays, so I will do that at some point. So that's the first one, Alien versus Predator. I always wanted that back in the day, even before I got older and back into collecting 2 and 3 times. I always knew that was supposedly one of the good games on the system, because as much as people give it stick, there are actually more, I think anyway, more good games than people would have you believe. I'd probably say maybe half the games are decent to good, and then there are a few stinkers. Anyway, next one up. This one I ordered online from CEX, I think, and it was actually, I ordered it without manual, but it's turned up with the manual, and it's Attack of the Mutant Penguins. If I can get into the box quite quickly, I'll just show you that it does come with the manual. You know what I'm like with boxes and box protectors. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe this is the first time you've watched one of my videos, but yeah, I'm not the most graceful at getting in the boxes, but there you go. It does have the manual. So as far as I'm aware, that is complete. And I think, so like I say, I paid the without manual price for that, which was £50 or £55, I think. And there's one currently on CEX that's it's listed as mint for 80, but I mean, it'd have to go some, I think, to be in better condition than this one anyway. So I'm quite happy with that one. Don't need to upgrade that one. And the next one is Breakout 2000, which I bought quite recently on eBay. Quite difficult to come across. Took me quite a while to add this one to my collection. I don't think this one has the manual. If I can get into it quickly enough, I'll just check. This one's got horrible locking tabs, and there is something in that. Oh, this does have the manual. It's one of the very bland telegames manuals, which I think quite a lot of the later telegames releases all had very basic manuals with no artwork on, as far as I'm aware. If you know any better, then let me know in the comments. So that's Breakout 2000. Now this is one that I did have back in the day. This one's in quite decent condition. I'll have to check this one, because I can't remember if this one comes with the manual or not. But it's all nicely boxed. It does have the manual. I'll try and do these a bit quicker if I can. It's Brutal Sports Football. It does have the manual, and obviously the cartridge is there as well. Don't know why that inlay tray is in backwards. I'll have to sort that out after I've finished. And I might do a few little jump cuts to just cut out me messing about with the boxes and the box protectors, just for the sake of the video not being a day long. So that's Brutal Sports Football. Not one of the greatest titles, but obviously if you're trying to get the full set, you're going to have to get it. Another one that I had back in the day, I don't know if I mentioned this before, I might have forgot this one, because I often do. And it's Bubsy the Bobcat. And it's Fractured Furry Tales. And I can't remember if I got this from CEX or if it was in a bundle that I bought from Cash Converters. There was definitely 1, 2, 3. This might have been in that bundle from Cash Converters. I'll let you know as we go in the video if that's the case, and we go through the other, because I bought a bundle of 4 games, and this was definitely one of them. This was I say a condition upgrade, but the box isn't in great shape. But basically I upgraded it from cartridge only to a box copy, and that's Cannon Fodder. Again, if I take too long messing on getting into the box, I'll cut that out. But yeah, we are complete with the manual. So messing on with the box. Maybe I should have got these ready and taken them out of the box protectors, but I just don't like doing that. I like to, I bought the box protectors for a reason. I like to keep them in there. And then again, another one that I had originally, and I think I had this I had this cartridge only, and this is the first one that I can think of. Is it? I think it is. One of my earlier videos, I bought a massive box of Atari boxes in a big box, and a lot of them were Jaguar, but there was 2,600 boxes, there was 7,800 boxes, sorry, there was a few Lynx boxes, and there was quite a few Jaguar ones. And I had this game cartridge only. I think it cost me about 15 or 18 pounds, and the box cost me next to nothing. So it's checkered flag. So that makes me think, unless I bought this somehow with a manual, this will probably be just box and cartridge, which I think it is. Yes, that one's just box and cartridge. So I can possibly go for a condition upgrade on that one at some point, because it's quite a cheap title anyway, and the box isn't in the greatest condition, and I don't have the manual for that, so that'll be a prime candidate for a condition upgrade in the future. And the next one is another one that I bought cartridge only, and the box was in the big box of Atari Jaguar games, and that's Club Drive. This is probably one of the stinkers on the system, not very good, although I do like the box art. And apparently if you play this game in a different way to it's meant to be played, it's actually not too bad if you just drive around for the sake of it, rather than try and actually do what the game's asking you to do. Early 3D, polygonal kind of driving game. And I think you're in, I can't remember, but I think you start off in a bedroom or something, trying to drive around a bit. Anyway, not played it much, but need it for the collection. So there it is, Club Drive. No manual, like I say, just box and cartridge only. This one I bought a box and a manual. It's obviously, I think pretty obviously, it'll be a reproduction box. So I've actually got 3 or 4 copies of this game, because there's one in each of these boxes. I think I've got a loose one, and I've got with a reproduction box, but I think that's the only way you can get a box for this. But an original manual, original cartridge, and that's Cybermorph. So if anyone knows Where Did You Learn to Fly, that's quite a famous line from this game. Said that with loads of personality, didn't I? Anyway, there you go, Cybermorph. Unfortunately, like I say, in a reproduction box, but I don't think there's an option to get an actual original box for that. Although CEX do sell box copies, when I've had a look, they want it in 32 or 35 pound, and it's always a reproduction box. So like I say, I think that's the only option. I managed to get the game, the box and the manual for, I think, £17 delivered, which is only just more than the unboxed price from CEX anyway. That was off eBay. And next up, this was quite a difficult one to find. I did manage to get a cartridge only, and then again, I managed to get a condition upgrade. This is complete, and it's Defender 2000, which is quite a good game. It's probably a little bit, the sprites are probably a little bit too big for the screen, but like I say, that's complete. Quite an expensive one, and not one of the easier ones to find as well. Doesn't come up all that often. And the next one, this is an absolute classic on pretty much any system it's on, and it's Doom. This one's definitely complete. I can open it up and show you if you want. It does have the control. This was one that was a condition upgrade with the parts only Jaguar that I bought. So I managed to upgrade. It's a lovely, if I can show you, it's a lovely condition box. And open nice and easily, that's good. Lovely condition box with little, like, I don't know, Japanese manual and an English manual and a registration card. Well, I say English, European manual, all in the little bag still, and also the controller overlay. So 100% complete. Like I say, ended up costing me nothing as well, because I managed to sell on my other version of this with 3 other games, and I sold on the console that was inside the box after I'd fixed it. So like I say, I managed to make about about a £40 profit, and keep about, I got the box, I kept the box for free, I kept the box controller for free, and I got 4 condition upgrades, so probably £100 worth of value on top of the actual £40 profit I managed to keep for free, so quite proud of that. It was one of the better deals I've done, especially when it comes to the Jaguar. And next up, we've got Double Dragon 5, again, one that's a bit of a stinker on the system. And I'm pretty sure this one is, yeah, this one's just cartridge and box. So I might upgrade this one in future, but it's quite expensive to buy one with the manual. If I can come across a manual by itself at any time, I'll just go for that option. And the next one, this was definitely in the bundle from Cash Converters where I bought 4 games. I bought 4 games for £100. This was one of them, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, and Cannon Fodder was definitely one of them. And there were 2 others. One of them we won't get to quite yet, but there were 2 others. I'll try and remember which ones they were as we go. The boxes were all a little bit battered. As you can see, there's a little bit of a rip there, but it's not terrible as far as Jaguar games go. But again, it's not one of the massive price tags on this one, so it's possible for a condition upgrade in the future. And then the next one, this one I got from, I think I got this one from CEX in Leeds, and it's Evolution Dino Dudes. Doesn't come up all that often, but it does come up from time to time. Pretty sure that one's complete, so that's a nice one as well. And then this one I bought from Facebook Marketplace along with another game that again we won't get to till quite, I paid £80 for the 2 anyway, and probably the other game is worth £80 by itself. Really nice condition, boxed and complete, Fever Pitch Soccer. Not a great game, but not terrible actually once you get to grips with the control system and the viewing angle. And then the next up, the trouble I had trying to get this game, I did actually get it from CEX, but when they sent it, it was a bit crushed as well. I had to do a little bit of work on the box, but the trouble I had trying to get this, I think I ordered it 3 times. First time the order was cancelled because they said they couldn't source the item, because basically they didn't have it in stock. They had something else in stock instead, which you'll see. The second time they sent me a console, what would you call it? A mini console of a reproduction of an old console, and you'll know what it is when I show you the game, and it's Flashback, The Quest for Identity. I managed to get a loose cart of this at the Newcastle Gaming Market last year from Console Passion. I paid £45 or £50 for that, but obviously I've since upgraded. I moved that on. I got my money back for that as well, which was good, and I've since upgraded to a box complete copy of Flashback. But it took me 3 goes, like I say, to try and get that. And the next one, now this is the other one. This was in the bundle from Cash Converters where I paid £100 for 4 games. Again, the box was a bit squashed, but once I'd given it once I'd straightened it out and put a inlay tray in there, it was fine, boxed and complete. Doesn't come up all that often actually, and it's flip out, so that's another nice one. And then the last one for this shelf, I've had about 4 or 5 versions of this in various bundles and things, and originally I bought one from Sunderland, and it was listed as unboxed because it didn't have the inlay tray, but I had some inlay trays, so that was okay. And it's Hover Strike, so I think I've moved on 2 or 3 versions of this, and this is the one that I've kept. Complete, absolutely complete, nice condition box, not 100%. I mean, actually, for the age of it, it's pretty decent. It's a good condition box. We'll leave it at that. And if you can see, on that side there, look, it's got a BT price sticker. I like those kind of things. I don't know why. Any modern stickers, I'll take them off straight away. I don't want the modern stick. But any that were on from the original time when this was in the shops, I do tend to like to keep on. So like your Woolworths things and BTs, and sometimes even like electronics boutique things. Especially shops that don't exist anymore, I do tend to keep the stickers or the price tags on. Anyway, I'm going to have to start whizzing through these, so I'm just going to start to try and get through them a bit quicker. One that doesn't come up all that often, not a cheap game. Unfortunately, there's a bit of where someone's got a bit giddy trying to take a sticker off. That wasn't me. This is how it arrived to me. But it's iWar. Like I say, it doesn't turn up all that often. And then we'll get to the next one quite quickly. One of the cheaper games, but I've got a nice condition example of it here, and that's Iron Soldier. And then this is one that this was also in the bundle, I think, from Cash Converters of the 4 games for 25, or was it? No, it wasn't. I'm lying. This was actually from CEX. Not expensive again. One I had originally back in the day, but I don't think I had the box, and that's Kasumi Ninja. And then this is the most recent acquisition from Kirkby Sales and Exchange. Really good price, I think, on this. Complete, really nice condition box. Missile Command 3D, absolutely brilliant. Really glad to, really happy to add that one to the collection. Again, this next one is one that came with this Jaguar. It was a condition upgrade. Absolutely excellent condition, complete. Pinball Fantasies. Not expensive, but not one of the cheaper ones. I think it's about £60 or £70 complete that, and that might almost qualify as a mint copy. I'm not sure. And then we've got a really nice condition. This was a condition upgrade. I have had another copy of this. I can't remember where I picked this up, but I'm pretty sure it was probably CEX with vouchers. And that's Pitfall: The Mayan Adventure. Not too bad. Some people try and say it's not great, but I think it's actually not too bad. Quite like that one. Really good game on the Jaguar. This box was in the big bundle of boxes that I got in the big box. I'll put a link if I can work out how to do it to that video somewhere on the screen. And it's Power Drive Rally. Unfortunately, it's just the box and the game. There's no manual. So I have seen them from time to time available. If I can get one at a decent price, I'll add the manual to that, obviously. Now this one is probably my favourite pickup of the entire collection, because I bought the cartridge by itself for, I think it was £70, and then later down the line I was looking into getting a reproduction box or a reproduction cover just for the time being, just so it looked decent on the shelf. And as is usually the case, while I was looking around to do that, an original box came up on eBay with the manual. I paid £23, so I've paid £93, which is still a lot, but it's for a complete box copy of Rayman. Actually, really quite good game on the Jaguar. Like I say, probably half the games are decent. Cannon Fodder, Predator, Alien vs Predator, Defender's okay, Doom. Flashback's decent. Missile Command's good. Pitfall's not bad, I don't think. Power Drive Rally, and then Rayman. Now this one isn't in the best condition, but I only paid unboxed price for this online, and it came through with a box, but I don't think a manual. Because the box is a little bit tatty, I don't really want to open it and check, but I think it's not got a manual anyway, so I'm not going to be lying about anything. Again, an original price sticker, and this one I think someone's tried to take off and they've actually damaged the box a bit, but because I only paid unboxed price, I'm kind of emotionally attached to that one for some reason. If I can upgrade it at a decent price in future, I will, but I might even end up I might upgrade it but still keep this one. Don't know if that makes sense or not, but so that was, I think that cost me £40. Came through as unboxed. Well, I ordered it as unboxed, but it came through with a box, but no manual. The next one, I had the cartridge only for this for quite a long time. No, sorry, I had the other way around. I had the box for this from the big box of boxes for quite a long time, and then one eventually popped up just around the corner from me in North Shields. I think it only cost me £25 for the cartridge, and the box was pennies in the end. That's how it worked out. Each box only cost me a few pence, maybe a pound tops, and it's Runa Pinball. So no manual, I don't think, but box and cartridge for a total of £25, £26. Then the next one, this is another condition upgrade. This came with the games. With this one, I had this boxed but no manual, and I've since moved that on, and it's Sensible Soccer. This one does have the manual inside. So that was a condition upgrade from that. Free condition upgrade basically as well. And I had this one as well boxed, and I've had a loose one in the past as well, and I've had it boxed without a manual, and I've since upgraded it to with manual, and this is another good game. Super Burnout. I think Sensible Soccer's decent as well, but some people don't like it because of how the controller feels. But if you can play the game, you can play the game, and it's actually decent even on the Jaguar. And Super Burnout is another good game. From one good game to one absolute stinker. This is complete. Cost about, I think it was about £28 complete, even on on CAX. So very good condition, complete Supercross 3D, but absolute horror of a game. Frame rate's terrible, controls are terrible, everything seems to be terrible about that. The graphics aren't great either. Next one, I think this is yes, this is definitely a condition upgrade because I had this as a loose cart originally, and it's Syndicate. Takes a bit of getting into, but it's actually a decent game, but takes a bit of getting into, especially when you need to remember what does what on the control pad with all those little number keys. Another condition upgrade because I had originally a loose cart of this, and it's Tempest, another great game on the Atari Jaguar. So again, people have you believe there's only a couple of good games on the Jaguar, but there's actually quite a few. I'll keep saying that. Again, this one, it's not the best port of this, but it's not as terrible as people would have you believe. And that's Theme Park, quite a cheap one, complete copy. This one's always seems to be available in CEX, but thankfully I don't think I need to upgrade the condition of that one. So next one's on eBay. This one's about £75. I bought this at the same time as I bought, what was the other one, Breakout 2000. They're both about 75 quid each, and that's Towers 2. I don't think this one's got the manual though, but I can get a manual for that, or I can even do a condition upgrade, I believe, from Telegames themselves. Next one, again, not great, but not as bad as people would have you believe. Trevor McFerrin in the Crescent Galaxy. So that one's boxed and complete. We're now onto the final row. I'm starting to try and whiz through them a bit now because we've already been going for over half an hour. And that's Troy Aikman football. This is complete. This was from Sunderland CEX. Was in the cabinet as unboxed, but I think because it didn't have the inlay tray, that's been remedied. It's now complete in the box. Ultra Vortec, I bought this from Facebook Marketplace at the same time as I bought Fever Pitch Soccer. I paid £80 for the pair, and this one complete possibly goes for more on eBay than £80 by itself, and I think goes for at least 80 at CEX. This one was, I think I got this one from North Shield CEX as well, cartridge only, because I already had the box from the big box of boxes. Valdez skiing and snowboarding, so no manual in that one, unfortunately. And we've got White Men Can't Jump. So didn't get this at the same time as the Team Tap, but really nice condition. Pretty sure that one, yeah, that one is complete. I can actually hear the manual rattling inside there. And then we've got another good game for the Jaguar, Wolfenstein 3D. Complete, has the overlay in there. Checked yesterday. Definitely has the overlay in there. I checked because Gateshead CEX had a loose copy with an overlay. I was considering buying that just to put the overlay in mine and then moving that one on, but this one already does have the overlay in. This one I don't think was an original release. Came up on Vinted with another game that I'll show you towards the end, because that one's not an original release either. But this box was in there with those boxes that I bought ages ago, and it's 05, so I'm going to put it in my collection, but I don't think that counts towards the 50 original releases that I've got a list of. Next one was in that bundle of 4 games from CEX that I paid £100 for. Was a bit crushed. Not the best condition box, but now not too bad, to be fair. And that's Zool 2. That's complete. I can feel the manuals in that one. Next one was another one that had the box in the big box. And then the cartridge turned up in Leeds CEX, so I ordered it for click and collect and got my daughter to pick it up in Leeds and then bring it home the next time she came home. And that's Zoop. And that is all my, and 05 as well, that's all my original release collection of Atari Jaguar games. So I think I've got 44. There's one more game I've got to show you, which is this Space War 2000. Now I've seen this online on eBay. I've seen people trying to sell the demo version of this, and I think this is a complete game. I've had a go of it, not played all the way through it, but the cartridge looks completely different to the ones that people are selling that looks like a demo. It is cartridge only, but it only cost me £22 or £22.50 along with 05 from Vinted. And people seem to be wanting silly money for the demo version of this. Now, I don't know if the demo's rarer or worth more money, but this is definitely worth more than £22. I know that much. So, will that go on there? Might go on there and just stay there. Or shall we put it on the top shelf so you can see it better? Right. So, I've gone through all the games that I've got, and like I say, I think there's 6 that I need, and of those 6, I have 4, I think, boxes for those games to go into. Now, the first game I need is Air Cars, which costs a fortune. That's probably going to be the last game I had. I think it's £500 or £600, maybe more, complete. So possibly might never get that one, but if I manage to ever come across it and I've got the money at the time, or maybe it's probably a credit card job, or you know, some kind of paying for it on the drip. Anyway, another expensive one. So I need Air Cars. I need everything for Air Cars. But I've got 4 games. 4 of the 6 games I need, I already have the box, and one of those is Atari Karts. I already have the box for Atari Karts. No manual, unfortunately. And the next one is Fight for Life. Apparently a bit of a stinker. I have seen one for sale in the country. I've seen a couple in Europe. Have seen one for sale in the country. I don't know if it's still there. It's at Peterborough Market. I haven't had the chance to get to Peterborough. I don't think I know anyone who lives anywhere near Peterborough. If anyone lives near Peterborough Market and they can check if that's still there and if they can get it for a decent price, I'd be happy to buy that from you. So that's Fight for Life. The next one is NBA Jam Tournament Edition. Quite expensive to just even buy the cartridge on its own of that, but I have the box for that as well. And the last one that I have, I think, an original box for, because I don't think that you can get reproductions of this, and I don't think the reproduction box is the same. And this is definitely aged like it's an original box and doesn't have the extra bit of printing on, and that's Worms. So if I can come across a cartridge for that, I'll be very happy to pick that one up as well. And then on top of that, I do have a few spare boxes. I've got a spare box for Pitfall, spare box for Fever Pitch Soccer, spare box for Trevor McFurry in the Crescent Galaxy, and I've also got a couple of spare boxes for aftermarket games, which are Hyperforce and Soccer Kid. So they weren't official releases as far as I'm aware, but if I ever come across those, I'd like to pick those up as well. And I think, finally, after all that, that might be the end of my collection. So like I say, I think I need 6 games, which are Air Cars, Atari Karts, Fight for Life, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, Worms. Is that it? Have I gone through them all there? Air Cars, Atari Karts, Fight for Life, NBA Jam, Worms. And there is, what's the, oh, Iron Soldier 2, which you can get on the Jaguar CD reasonably readily, but the cartridge version doesn't seem to be quite so easy to come across. So Iron Soldier 2 and Air Cars are the 2 that I haven't got anything of. Everything else I'm on the way to getting. That's my Atari Jaguar collection. Like I say, not as many stinkers as people would have you believe. Bit of a marathon video. If you got this far, thank you very much for watching. I will not be doing videos that last 40 minutes probably in the future, but if you've managed to get through this, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you'll tune in for the next one, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you.